Kiley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A paradox of the modern history of our country is that we are on the leading edge in so many ways when it comes to technology and innovation, and yet our large-scale public infrastructure, with public transit being a clear example, often lags behind the rest of the developed world. It can just be an unpleasant experience for people. It's unsafe. It's unreliable, but then you go to other developed countries and you see they have really well-functioning and widely used public transportation systems. I mean, if you look just, for example, at the San Francisco Bay Area, this is a region populated by the most innovative companies in the history of the world, and then you get on Muni or BART, the public transit systems, and it's very antiquated and often not a good experience. It doesn't get you where you need to be in an efficient manner. So I guess my question is, maybe for you, Mr. Scribner, is what can we learn here from places that actually do public transportation better across the world?
Well, setting aside the differences in income and sort of the urban geography, I think one thing they do much better than the United States is leverage innovative procurement methods. So there's a lot more, you see a lot more public-private partnerships in providing competitive contracting, that service. And I think that lends itself to innovative technologies. So, where in the United States, we have no heavy rail systems that are fully automated. I mean, where we see automated rail systems is primarily at airports. That is now standard practice around the world. New lines being built, fully automated. And we're just not seeing that there because I think we're stuck in the 1960s. We have 60-year-old transit laws that really haven't been modernized, and that is not the approach they have taken in Europe and in Asia and in other places where transit is much more robust and much higher quality.
So they've just incorporated better technology into their infrastructure because they've been continually updating and modernizing.
I think through providing the incentives for under competitive contracting, that creates that incentive to drive innovation. And I think that's why you see a lot more interesting things coming out of those countries in the transit realm than in the United States.
So on that point of sort of modernizing technology, I mean, we have in the U.S. Been leading the way when it comes to innovation in transportation in a lot of other ways. I mean, our companies have pioneered electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles. In San Francisco right now, Waymo has a network of self-driving cars, and there's every indication that autonomy is going to become more and more widely adopted in terms of the number of folks. And there's all kinds of models about how is this going to affect car ownership. So in that context of changing transportation technology and potentially huge changes in car ownership and other methods by which people just go about their daily life, how should we be thinking of the next generation of public transit in that context, in terms of demand, in terms of the available options?
Well, I think we've heard from some of the other witnesses discussion around microtransit, and I think those kinds of, we may not need, the 40-foot bus may not be the future of transit in America. So I think looking at different vehicle sizes, different operating models, focusing more on on-demand service, really trying to get at the being closer to private vehicle service, because what private vehicles offer, and which is why the vast majority, more than 90% of households have cars today, is because it provides much better access to the surrounding area. And I think for transit to compete, it needs to try to take on some of those characteristics that cause the vast majority of Americans to not choose transit.
You've spoken to this, Ms. Hendricks, today as well. Do you have anything to add, or any other sort of next generation transportation technologies or ideas that it's important for us to keep in mind when thinking about public transportation?
Yeah, I think it's been mentioned before, the ability to adapt to the current realities and the futures starting with network design, understanding where people are residing and where they're moving to is the first key. So really focusing on the network design in order to have the most safe, reliable, and on time, right? To get people into public transit, it needs to be safe, it needs to be reliable. So when you look at the future, as I mentioned in my testimony, from representing NATA, the more microtransit on demand that allows people to connect to the larger cities and the urban areas of the public transit systems is one method to do that. I think partnering with our labor partners as well to understand and get their input, because I agree that the people closest to the position understands. So we need to listen to where the driver's input is. But I think looking at the shift, it will require a collaborative effort amongst many, including our public agencies and our partners, to ensure that we have the right vehicle in the right place at the right time that's going to be safe and reliable to enhance ridership and reduce the congestion that's currently involved in many of our major cities.
Thank you. I yield back.
Gentleman yields, Mr.